You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
All right, brothers and sisters, this is Sergeant O on Why You Can't Handle the Truth. Today we're talking on Gavin Newsom's latest crime video where he claims Trump is weaponizing the DOJ against him and his wife. First, I'm going to go ahead and play the full video so you can hear every word this clown says. Now listen close.
In recent days, federal agents have knocked on the doors of family, friends, and former employees, not because they found a crime, because they're simply trying to find one. They're demanding records. They're abusing the grand jury process, digging through years and years of random documents. Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president, because he hates that I've consistently called him out over and over again for his lies and deceit. Donald Trump is simply the most corrupt president in American history.
Now, just to let you know, Trump didn't get DOJ to go after him. This is caused by a whistleblower in Sacramento, a Democrat, and this was done during Joseph Biden's administration, before Trump was even in office. Just so you know.
Turn the levers of government into his own personal power ministries to reward cronies and to try to jail his opponents. His personal attorney now runs the Department of Justice, which has repeatedly gone after his political enemies. Ask Jerome Powell. Sent them after James Comey, Trish James, Adam Schiff. He sent them after Tim Walz. A woman, the jury found Donald Trump sexually abused. One back.
Also, I'll be going over everything those guys did, so you know what happened.
Anyone who has challenged Donald Trump has ended up on his hit list, and today I proudly join that list. Calling for my arrest last year, Donald Trump directed his Department of Justice to investigate me. And just in the last week, I learned that his campaign has reached my own home. To get me, he's coming after my wife, Jen, a public servant, a woman who's dedicated her life to supporting women and girls. Someone who has done nothing wrong other than having the temerity to advocate for what she believes in. If they can't intimidate me, they'll go after the mother of our children.
All right, so I'm also going to go over everything she's involved with, that she got herself into because it was her idea.
Donald Trump, we have nothing to hide. His political operatives can take every record and read every page, but they'll be looking in the wrong place. If they really want to find corruption, look no further than 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Donald Trump is selling the presidency. He's running the largest in American political history, trading foreign tariff relief for approval of his golf courses, day trading behind the Resolute desk, reaping hundreds of millions of dollars in personal profit. He's doing it openly. He's doing it on camera. He did it last night on the White House lawn. He's doing it through cryptocurrencies. He's doing it through the receipt of a $400 million private jet from a foreign government that he plans to keep when he leaves office, through his son's ventures in countries where his own administration is simultaneously making policy. His personal fortune has skyrocketed by $4 billion since making his return to office. This is the behavior of a regime, not a republic. The White House has become a marketplace for sneakers and coins and watches, cologne, guitars, Bibles, and phones. Influence for sale, access for sale. Today, my family and I.
You notice what he does? He says key points. Key points that the people on the left are all relative to what they label us as, and he just says them, but he doesn't go specifically in what he means by it, or what. Give us an example.
Can personally confirm that justice is for sale. To Donald Trump, who I know is watching because he watches everything, I have a message for you. You can subpoena my records. You can investigate me. You can harass me. Put my name on every and any enemy's list you have, but leave my wife and family out of your personal vendetta. I'd like to say something to my wife. These times are not normal. They're not ordinary. I love you. Sorry he's doing this. You have not earned a single one of the indignities that he's trying to inflict on you and our children. Donald
I'm going to show you what she's done.
Trump, this country does not belong to you. It does not belong to your cronies. And we're going to fight your lawlessness. And we're going to continue to remind the people of this country of your corruption. That same corruption our founders warned us against as we move to celebrate our 250th anniversary. I'm going to keep reminding Americans of what they warned would happen if a man with no character ever held the office of presidency. So let me say it again. Mr. President, come after me. I'm not going anywhere. And
Yeah, you heard it. Okay, so anyways, let's go over this video. I wanted to go ahead and dissect this video limb by limb, because just to show you how much he lies. Gavin Newsom crying like a weak California flake he is. Now, this is going to be like my first episode of a series of California flake culture, where I just go over different people. So he dragged his wife in it. Let's talk about your wife and the behested payments. Behested payments are pay-to-play payments where people donate money for special favors. They don't hand the money straight to the politician. They put it into a nonprofit, a foundation, or some little cause connected to the politician's world, and then everybody acts like it's clean. But we know what it is. It's pay-to-play with a fancy name. And where did she learn it? Well, she used to be a film director. Well, she still is a film director. And she learned this under Harvey Weinstein. Don't believe me? Look it up on Google. That's Hollywood game. That's political game. That's Newsom's game. Money, favors, access, nonprofits, special treatment. Everybody acting like the regular people are too stupid to see it. And now she has a nonprofit. You know what her nonprofit does? It directs, creates, and promotes documentaries and media about, I kid you not, you ready for this California bullshit? Gender equality. That's right. Gender equality. That's the cause. That's the cover. That's the pretty little label they slap on it. So everybody is supposed to shut up and clap. And this nonprofit gets donations to make this stuff. And these big companies donating all this money to her, guess what? They're in business with Newsom politically. They got business in California. They got interest in California. They got regulations, contracts, favors, and access they care about. Do you see where this pay-to-play payments, how it works? They donate to her, then they get to play with Newsom. That's the game. That's the racket. That's how they wash influence through a nonprofit and then tell regular people, oh, it's just charity. It's just documentary. It's just gender equality. No, it's power. It's access. It's money moving through this family machine. And here's the funny thing about behested payments. In a lot of places, this kind of pay-to-play garbage would get treated like the dirty political money game it is. But not in California. No, no, sir. In California, they built the loophole right into the system. They don't call it campaign contribution. They don't call it a gift. They call it behested payments. That means the politicians ask somebody to donate money to the charity, nonprofit foundation, and little pet project connected to their world. And as long as they report it, everybody acts like it's clean. But let's be clear how this works. These payments have to be reported if they're $5,000 or more from one source in a calendar year. That's the magic number, $5,000 or more. Once it hits that number, they're supposed to report it within 30 days. But there's still no real limit. Campaign donations have limits. Gifts have limits, but not these payments. That money can keep flowing. So how does this happen? Because California politicians made the system where they can say, it didn't take the money. No, you didn't take it straight into your hands. You just pointed it to the donor, to your wife's nonprofit, and your favorite cause, your political project, your charity, your little machine, and then everybody knows who helped who. That's the scam. It started as this cute little ideal. Oh, we're just helping charities. We're just helping good cause. But now look what it became. A backdoor political money pipeline. They donate over here, they get access over there. They donate to her, they get to play with Newsom. That's not charity. That's California corruption with paperwork. And when I say California politicians, I'm not just talking in the wind. I'm talking about Gavin Newsom. I'm talking about Eric Garcetti. I'm talking about Rob Bonta. I'm talking about Sacramento lawmakers who figured out this little loophole and ran with it. Newsom used it. Garcetti used it. Bonta got fined over late reporting on it. Other lawmakers had nonprofits and foundations connected to the political world pulling in this kind of money too. So don't tell me this is some innocent charity bullshit. California built a political money machine where politicians can say, I didn't take money, while donors write checks to the cause, nonprofits, projects, sitting right next to their power. That's the loophole. That's not clean government. That's California corruption with a receipt. And who made this legal? That's the sick part. This goes back to California's Political Reform Act from 1974, Proposition 9. Voters were told this was about cleaning up politics, transparency, campaign finance, and all the nice surrounding government bullshit. Then over the years, Sacramento got its hands on it. And in 2017, Assembly Bill 867 comes along, authored by Assemblyman Ken Cooley, Democrat, signed by Governor Jerry Brown. And what did they do? They cleaned up the language, moved pieces around, and put this payment system right there in the government code. So now they can say, oh, it's legal, it's disclosed, it's paperwork. Yeah, no kidding, that's the problem. They made the loophole legal. They said if the politicians ask somebody to give money to a nonprofit, charity, foundation, or pet project, it's not treated like a campaign contribution to the politician. It's not treated like a regular gift. It just has to be reported after it hits $5,000 from one source in 1 year. That's how they do it. They don't ban the dirty money pipeline. They just say, fill out the form. That's California for you. Corruption doesn't disappear. They just give it a form number. And here's where it gets even crazier. Going into COVID, you got to watch what happened. The year before Gavin Newsom, payments were around $12 million. Then 2020 hits, COVID hits, emergency power hits. Boom, it explodes up to $226 million. 12 million to 226. I'm going to say that again. $226 million. And who's writing the checks? Well, Facebook was there for around 27 million. Google, Blue Shield, Disney, Kaiser, Paramount Pictures, Netflix, YouTube, TikTok, Amazon, T-Mobile, Bank of America, and a whole bunch of other corporate names. And what was it all for? Mostly pandemic relief, vaccines, homeless programs, public health ads, COVID messaging, all the nice sounding stuff that put on a label. But here's my question. When the same government has emergency power, controls lockdown, controls public health rules, controls contracts, controls regulation, controls who gets open, who gets closed, who gets protected, who gets crushed. And then these same massive corporations are donating millions into Gavin Newsom's behested payment machine. You don't see the problem? That is exactly why people don't trust this system. Because regular people were losing businesses, losing jobs, getting locked down, getting told what they could and couldn't do, while the biggest corporations in the world were writing checks into this machine. And let's keep the focus right where it belongs. All this money is flying around through this payment system. Big corporations are donating because Gavin Newsom asks, pushes, directs, and blesses it. And then you look over here and his wife's nonprofit organization sit right in the middle of this political family machine. Her nonprofit is supposed to be making movie documentaries. That's what they tell us. Documentaries. Gender equality or equity. Media projects, public awareness, all the beautiful California buzzwords. But what the hell does that have to do with COVID rules? What does that have to do with masks from China? What does that have to do with vaccines? What does that have to do with homeless money? What does that have to do with public health ads? What does that have to do with corporations that have business in front of the state? That's the question. Because when these companies are donating money into the cause connected to Gavin Newsom's world and his wife's nonprofit is part of that same world, you don't get to call that innocent and walk away. You don't get to say, oh, it's just documentaries. No, that's the cover story. The real issue is access, influence, power, donor money, corporate money, political protection, and the Newsom family machine sitting there acting like nobody is allowed to ask questions. They donate over here, they get access over there. A regular Californians get told to shut up, pay more taxes, wear the mask, lose their business, watch gas prices explode, and pretend this is all normal. No, it's not normal. It's pay-to-play politics hiding behind a nonprofit documentary camera. And while all that COVID money was flying around, let's talk about what California was paying for face masks from China. Newsom cut this big deal with BYD, a Chinese company for masks during the COVID. This wasn't some little order. California agreed to pay over $1 billion total. Most of it for N95 masks, around $990 million for 300 million N95 masks. That comes out to about $3.30 per N95 mask. Then you have another 54, what is it? You see, 50, I think $49 million for 100 million surgical masks. That's about 55 cents per surgical mask. I know, I went to losing grade high, so my math is not all that great. But here's the part that should make everybody stop and think. California was locked down. Small businesses were getting crushed. People were losing jobs. Churches were getting told what they could do. Regular folks were being treated like criminals. And at the same time, the state was sending massive money to Chinese companies for masks. Then later, they come back with another deal. Hundreds of millions more masks, another $316 million. This time the price were lower, but $2.13 N95s and 20 cents per surgical mask. So my question is simple. Why were we paying China over $1 billion for masks while California workers, California businesses, and American manufacturers were getting crushed? Why did this whole COVID machine always seem to benefit the biggest corporations, the connected donors, and the foreign supply chains, and the political class, while regular people got wrecked? That's not a public service. That's power. That's access. That's the COVID era, California corruption wearing a public health mask. And don't act like Gavin Newsom just magically appeared out of nowhere. This man comes out of California political family machine. Jerry Brown signs the law that helps formalize this behested payment loophole. Gavin Newsom comes up under Jerry Brown, California Democrat world. Then Newsom gets into power and benefits from the same kind of system. And it doesn't stop there. I mean, look at Gavin's father, William Newsom, judge, Getty family advisor, Getty family trustee. That's not some random middle-class dad trying to make rent. That's old California money. That's billionaire circle money. That's access. Then you look at Gordon Getty helping Gavin get his wine business going. You look at Willie Brown helping Gavin get appointed into San Francisco Board of Supervisors. Look at Brown, Newsom, Pelosi, Getty connections going back generations. So when I say this machine, I mean a machine. This is not Gavin Newsom, regular guy, working his way up like everybody else. This is Gavin Newsom being moved through the California power pipeline. Getty money, Brown politics, Willie Brown appointments, Pelosi's world, connections, Sacramento loopholes, and then his wife's nonprofit sitting right there in the middle of the donor money and the political access. That's the California ruling class. They write the rules, they use the rules, they benefit from the rules, and then regular people ask questions, they call it a conspiracy. No, this is not a conspiracy. It's the family business. And if you were going to talk about Gavin Newsom, dirty California money, then we need to talk about PG&E too. Go look it up. Fool's Gold, page 213, PG&E. This is the utility to deadly fires, burned communities, destroyed families, and massive damage across California. And what happens? Gavin Newsom doesn't treat them the way he treats oil companies. He don't come down on them like the same big bad corporation villain. No, PG&E gets protected. PG&E gets handled. PG&E gets a path. According to Fool's Gold, Newsom had ties to PG&E money, and PG&E connected interests while his administration helped move a bankruptcy deal that benefited, you got it, PG&E. So don't tell me this man is some fighter for a little guy. When regular people mess up, California crushes them. When small businesses can't keep up, California shuts them down. When taxpayers fall behind, California comes a knocking. But when PG&E is tied into a disaster, fires, death, billions in damage, somehow political machines find a way to protect the powerful. That's not justice. That's the California ruling class protecting its own. And let me say this too. If you really want Newsom, or you want to know who Newsom really is, go read this book, Fool's Gold. Don't just listen to me. Go read it for yourself. This is one of those books you need to have in your hand if you want to understand the California machine, the money, the family connections, PG&E, the donor class, the political protection, and how this guy got moved through the system. You want the truth on this motherfucker? Yeah, go read Fool's Gold. Trust me. Because once you start seeing how all these pieces connect, the Getty money, the Brown machine, the PG&E, the non-process, the behested payments, the Hollywood money, the donor class, you'll stop looking at Gavin Newsom like a regular politician. And you'll start seeing the machine behind him. And that's what they don't want you to see. And don't just take my word for it. You know what? Matter of fact, go look up Jennifer Van Laar over at Red State. She's been digging into this Newsom family machine too. She reported on Gavin and Jennifer Newsom, $3.7 million Sacramento area estate, the LLC setup, the cousin connection, the property transfer, the tax questions, the private school move, and all this rich California ruling class behavior that regular people would never get away with. And that's what I'm talking about. This isn't just one little scandal. This is a pattern. A mansion, the family connections, getting money, the Brown machine, the PG&E stuff, the behested payments, the wife nonprofit, the Hollywood money, the donor class, the corporation with business in front of the state. Piece by piece, it starts painting the same picture. Gavin Newsom is not some normal public servant. He's a product of the California power machine. And people like Jennifer Van Laar, people writing books like Fool's Gold, people digging into the records, they're showing you the paper trail. So don't sit there and call it a conspiracy when the receipts keep showing up. And now Gavin wants to start name dropping everybody else. Jerome Powell, Adam Schiff, James Comey, Tim Walz, some woman. What woman? Whatever name he can throw out there to make it sound like Trump is just around attacking people for no reason. No, stop it, fool. Let's go one by one. Jerome Powell. What was it about? That was about the Federal Reserve building renovation mess, billions of dollars in cost overruns. Questions about what Powell told Congress. Questions about whether the American people were getting the full truth about what that money was being spent on. Ticky-tack stuff. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know everything about Powell yet, but I'm not going to act like I do. But I do know this. Asking questions about billions of dollars in public money is not a crime. Oversight is not revenge. Accountability is not dictatorship. But Adam Schiff, let's talk about him. Oh yeah, this motherfucker right here. This is a guy who pushed Russia for years. This is a guy who acted like he had all the evidence. Remember that? This guy who helped sell the American people a story that tore this country apart. And now we're finding out about the whistleblower allegations that Schiff pushed or allowed classified information to be leaked because he thought it was protected if it was talked about in Congress. That's not Trump revenge. That's accountability. You don't get to use Congress as a shield, leak classified information, smear presidents, push a narrative, and then cry when somebody finally looks into what the hell they're doing. That's why Senator Kennedy ate his lunch. Oh, and let's talk about James Comey, former FBI director, Boy Scout Act. The holier than thou routine. The DOJ inspector, the general said Comey violated FBI policies and his employment agreement over those memos about Trump. He kept FBI records at home. He gave information to his friends so it could get into the media. Even though DOJ could decline prosecution back then, they don't tell me there was nothing there. There was something there. There was a standard regular people would never get away with. I mean, the whole perjury trap is what I like to call, where he would accuse somebody for a crime, get them to lie, and then charge them for that lie. Don't forget Carter Page's mess, the surveillance warrants, the bad application, the errors, the omissions. The government had to settle with Carter Page, and he was never charged with wrongdoing. So when Gavin Newsom says Trump is going after James Comey, I say no. James Comey's own action brought heat upon himself. Now let's talk about James Comey's favorite little dirty trick, the false statement trap. They call it process crime. I call it a setup. They don't always get you on what they originally accused you of. They drag you into an interview, ask you questions they already know the answers to, twist it up, catch you in a wrong word, one bad memory, or a misstatement. And then boom, now they got you lying to the FBI. That's how they got Martha Stewart. Not the original crime, not the big accusation. Not that thing that went on TV and scared everybody about. No, they get you on the interview. Big example. Look at Michael Flynn. They already had transcripts of his call. They knew what was said, but they still walked into the White House. Okay, so this is important because when they walked into the White House, he even admitted that this administration was so immature that they were able to do something they wouldn't be able to get away with anybody else. So he walked in the White House, met with Michael Flynn, like there was supposed to be some meeting, but it was just that interview. And he had no idea what was coming. They interviewed him, and then they ended up with a charge with making false statements to the FBI. And let me say with a false statement, he talked about a call or he didn't make a call or what have not. And he did lie, whether it was bad memory or what have not. But like I said, that call they're talking about, they had the transcripts on there, and there was nothing that he did illegal. Look at George Papadopoulos. I never get that guy's name right. Man, you guys need to stick to 2-syllable names. What's wrong with you? Same thing. He didn't go to prison for proving some giant Russia conspiracy. He got hit for making false statements to the FBI agents. That's the trick. That's their game. They make the accusation huge. They make the media storage huge. They make the public think they caught some spy ring, some treason plot, some massive conspiracy. And then when the smoke clears, what's the charge? False statements, a process crime. Then they turn around and use that to squeeze people. You better cooperate. You better say what we want. You better help us build the bigger story. You don't cooperate, we're going to bury you. That's not justice. That's intimidation with a badge. That's how Comey's FBI operated. And that's why I don't want to hear this Boy Scout crap about James Comey. He wasn't some clean, holy law and order altar boy. He played dirty. He used power of the FBI to trap people, pressure people, feed a political narrative. And if you don't believe me, look up these guys. Look up these guys that actually got charged with. Flynn, false statements. Papadopoulos, false statements. Then not that big TV accusation, not that media fantasy, not Russia treason. False statements. That's the Comey game. Accuse big, interview dirty, charge small, squeeze hard, and then act like you saved democracy. Then Tim Walz. We already know about Walz. Minnesota fraud, feeding our future. Hundreds of millions stolen from programs that were supposed to feed kids and help families. They didn't come from Trump. They came from audits, investigations, whistleblowers, the state's own failures, and Nick Shirley, young kid. So stop acting like Trump invented everybody's scandal. Trump didn't make Powell's renovation costs explode. Trump didn't make Adam Schiff push for the Russia hoax. Trump didn't make James Comey mishandle FBI memos. Trump didn't make Minnesota fraud happen under Tim Walz. Trump didn't make Gavin Newsom's wife nonprofit take donor money from companies with businesses in California. That's the whole point. These people did dirt. They built the machine. They used the loopholes. They played the game. Then when justice starts sniffing around, they all point at Trump and scream, political revenge. No, fool. That's not revenge. That's accountability. That's justice finally serving right. And Gavin Newsom knows it. That's why he's changing the subject. That's why he's crying. That's why he's throwing names around. Because if he can make it about Trump, he doesn't have to answer for Gavin Newsom. And here's another question. Why now? It's been a while. A lot of us have been waiting for somebody to finally look into this Newsom machine. We've been saying this stuff. We've been watching this money. We've been watching the nonprofits. We've been watching the family connection. We've been watching the donor class. So why now? Where do the whistleblowers come from? People are going to wonder. And I'm going to say it right now. I'll be the one to say it. Kamala Harris. I'm not saying I can prove it. I'm saying that where my political gut goes, looks like somebody might be running president again. Looks like somebody doesn't want somebody else in the way. And if California Democrat politics don't act like these people don't eat their own, when power is on the line, you got another thing coming. You got Gavin Newsom looking at 2028. You got Kamala Harris looking at 2028. You got two California Democrats who both think the White House belongs to them. So maybe this isn't just Trump. Maybe this is the California Democrat machine turning on itself. Maybe somebody on Kamala's side knows where the bodies are buried. Maybe somebody decided it was time to blow the whistle. Maybe Gavin got too big, too cocky, too loud, and too close to the lane Kamala wants. Again, I'm not saying I can prove it. I'm saying follow the timeline, follow the motive, follow the power, because politics ain't Sunday school. These people don't play nice. They smile in public, shake hands for the cameras, and then behind closed doors, they cut each other's throats for power. And if Gavin Newsom is sitting there crying that Trump is coming after him, maybe he needs to look closer to home. Maybe the knife that didn't come from the Mar-a-Lago, maybe it came from his own California Democrat family. This whole speech is weak. Leader talk? Nah. Blame everybody else while your state falls apart. No more two-way rules. No more big shots above the law. Regular Americans seeing through it. We all see through it. And the message that Gavin Newsom is this. This state, this is my message. We're going to take this. My message to Gavin Newsom is, this state don't belong to you. This city don't belong to you. This country don't belong to you. You act like it does, but we're fighting you and your corruption. Come 2028, your political career is over. I think all of us need to start speaking up and let the rest of the world know exactly who you are or who he is. He's a piece of shit. Listen, I hope I gave you enough information. I hope you liked it. I'm Sergeant O. If this is exactly why you can't handle the truth. So if you enjoyed it, you got some information out there, or if you had questions, you want to know something, go ahead and drop a comment. If you're sick of the excuses, you're tired of this bullshit, drop a comment. Hit like, subscribe, stay locked in. We'll keep calling this out. Put America first, no retreat, no surrender. Huh. I'm going to be doing different episodes for this whole California flake culture that I'm seeing. Every politics, brown fatigue, everything. Until then, this is Sergeant O. You guys have a good day.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.